Good evening, students. I hope you're all safe wherever you are right now. I apologize for being this somewhat late with this introduction video, but here we are. Um, we're going to go over some basic things tonight. Normally, this is the time that we would all introduce ourselves. Um, but unfortunately, through circumstances beyond my control, and of course, several of you have reached out and said you would be unable to attend. We're going to go through and just go over the basics of marketing strategy. We will try to meet in March online again, and hopefully we'll do our individual introductions then. I realize and recognize that many of you will not be able to attend. You're exempt, or let's just say you are not going to be dinged for not being able to come, but we will ask you, because this will be recorded, that you will, in essence, be responsible for anything that's being recorded. All right? So without further ado, let us go ahead and we're going to look at As You Learn, and we will look at the essentials of marketing strategy. So what are the course objectives? The course objectives that we have listed here is that there is the desire for you to be able to demonstrate critical thinking, both analytic and creative, when it comes to marketing strategy and the implementation of marketing. So just to go over the skills that you will be required to demonstrate is that you will be given the concepts of marketing management, and we will ask you to recall them during tests. We will ask you to be able to evaluate strategic marketing decisions and then demonstrate problem-solving skills by actually creating a marketing plan, executive summary, and a situation analysis, all of which will be described and defined as we go on through the semester. The website is laid out in sections. The first section is student resources, which is what you should find on just about every one of the As You Learn websites. You'll have the pre-course overview, which is online, and this has particularly to do with marketing strategy. And then there are discussion boards and announcements when we have those or see fit. And then we break down each of the individual sections on the As You Learn website. So the first part of what you're going to be doing is that you will be going through the fundamental concepts of marketing management, including recalling the essential definitions that are important to marketing strategy. We take the text of our work from the marketing strategy, which is Farrell Hartline, and you will find that online here under Vital Source for the book website. So if you click on Vital Source, what you'll find is that they will show you this part of the campus store that has the online books that you can be able to use for your study. When you click on this, you come to the marketing strategy books, both texts and cases by Farrell, Hartline, and Hochstein. I know Dr. Farrell personally. This is his best work that I've, period. One of the great things about it is this book comes self-contained with the cases so that we don't have to use anything extraneous. Everything comes from the book. For those of you who will only have this as a particular exposure to marketing, this is a great book for you to keep and to save. So if you want to look it up and find it, do so wholeheartedly. So each one of these is broken up into sections, and then the last section are the cases, and these cases are where we will ultimately find where you and your groups are going to do your case studies, okay? All right, so let us go through again. We were talking about the sections. Let's go through the sections. So as I said before, section 1 is setting the stage for marketing strategy. Now, I do these chapters differently than OC does because I want to teach in a given way. So this is how you will go about learning the chapters. The chapters are basically asynchronous. In other words, you can take them and learn them on your own given time. The tests, however, are fixed dates. And so the first test is coming up between January 27th and the 29th. What that means is that from any time from 12:01 January 27th to 11:59 on January 29th, you can take the test. The test is online. The test is timed. So from the moment you start to the moment you end, it is built so that you should take no more than an hour and a half to take the test. You will finally time out. Now, the first test is going to be on chapters 1 and chapter 6. Chapter 1 is marketing in today's economy. It will be 2 videos, and the total runtime will be 40 minutes and 54 seconds. To accompany these 2 videos, I have the PowerPoint slides that I will be using during those particular discussions. Everything except for chapter 6, in which I will add a different set of PowerPoints with the marketing program, because the one reason is that I teach channel strategy, and I am not happy with channel strategy as OC has in this book. So I would urge you, when you do this chapter, to take careful attention to the part that talks about place. Chapter 6 covers price, promotion, product, and place, and all of those can be found in the marketing strategy book, except for place. And as I said, I teach it. I'm not happy the way that OC did it in his book, so mine tends to be a little bit more expansive in an understanding of place. At the end of each one of these chapters, they have a quiz review. And the quiz review takes you through multiple choice questions that have to do with that given chapter. Now, the test draws from these particular questions. Not all right? But you take the test will, or excuse me, the quiz will, in essence, give you an idea about what are the correct answers, as you see here, so that you can use these as study guides for taking your test. You are not, you are not graded on the quizzes. The quizzes are there to help you test your own personal knowledge and as a way to practice for the ultimate test. The test itself is let me go to the test. Okay. So the test itself is an hour, 30 minutes. It will be 30 questions, multiple choice, but it'll also be 5 essay questions as well. All right. And I will not say anything else other than that. All right. You have an hour and a half to do the test, and then the test will grade itself except for the essay questions, and I will grade the essay questions within 3 days. Note also that along with those particular chapters are 2 articles that are very important: Marketing Myopia and Marketing is Everything. You will find those particular articles listed in the discussion for those weeks. So you see right here to read Marketing Myopia. That will lead you ultimately to the article itself. And so you can use this as a way of being able to grab that information that you need. The videos will have a section on marketing myopia so that it will help you to understand, give you a better idea of what questions I would ask it. The marketing myopia is what we would call a seminal article. It is one of those articles that basically gives us a before and an after version of how we perceive marketing. It is a critical article for you to understand because it puts marketing in its most basic functions as to how does it deliver value to the consumer. And in marketing, the consumer is everything, an important concept. So chapter 1 and 6, you can do these on your own time. The test is from January 27th to 29th. I have had students such as yourself asked to do the test at different times, and I will allow you to do that, especially many of you who have to travel and go to places. I had a student, unfortunately, who had difficulties, especially dealing with her children who had a very bad illness, and I allowed her to put off the test all the way to the very end of the semester. And so if conditions require you, especially in an emergency situation like that, I will be very happy to do what I can to help you out. So that's the first section. Section 2 is when we talk about how to discover opportunities and develop strategy. And so the objective in this is to evaluate the impact of making strategic marketing decisions by examining the current events and scenarios from the text. So you're going to learn things like the SWOT analysis, the situation analysis, and how to be able to categorize the important text and facts that are in a given case, and how you use those to be able to come up to create strategic decisions. So our first Zoom meeting where we're all going to get together is in the week of February 5th to February 9th. Now, I know for several of you, you emailed me about difficulties with given days of the week. I'm going to send out a Zoom study, excuse me, a study or a survey in which I want you to go about and choose what would be the best day of the week for you given your situations. It will be anonymous, and I will try to determine what is the best day of the week that I can perform these. My only day that I can't is Thursday, unfortunately. So if we can find any other time during the week in which we can all agree, Monday or Wednesday tend to be the better ones for me, then I will do that, okay? And as I said before, I don't expect all of you, this is not a mandatory meeting, but you are required to have looked at the video, and you are, in essence, not exempt from whatever information is on there, okay? Okay, so we start section 2. We're going to need you to read The Process and Diffusion of Innovation, because innovation is one of those key concepts when it comes to marketing strategy. We're going to move to chapter 2 on strategic marketing planning. We'll move to chapter 3 on how we go about collecting and analyzing marketing information. And then chapter 4 is how do we develop a competitive advantage and a strategic focus. Each one of these has a video that, a PowerPoint that accompanies the video so that you can be able to take notes along the way. Now, one of the things that I also put in, it is not mandatory, but I put in what's called this week's marketing message. And generally what I put together is a 5 to 10 minute kind of discussion where I talk about marketing topics of the day. And so an example is I talk about the name, image, and likeness contracts that are currently in NCAA football. And so not mandatory at all, but it's just one of those things that I have that kind of stimulates conversation and thinking of you about marketing in our everyday lives. So after we go through chapters 2, 3, and 4, each one with their own quiz review, then we have our next test, February 24th to 26th. Same thing. You're given this broad range, these 3 days in which you can take the test. And this will be on chapters 2, 3, and 4, and the article, The Process of Innovation. As I say, you will find your completed grades within 3 days after the test completion. The last section will be putting the strategy into action, where we get you, or we help you to develop your problem-solving skills by designing a marketing plan using the essential components of a SWOT analysis, executive summary, and a situation analysis. So we will have another meeting, a Zoom meeting, March 6th, and this will be on going over the topic of how to analyze a case, which you will find listed up here in, up in the pre-course review, the documents that you need. And this will pertain to this Zoom meeting on March 6th. Now, let me also say that's not fixed in stone. When you take the survey, you can say which day of the week you have preference on, Monday through Wednesday, okay? So you will go into groups. By then, we will have the groups completed. You will create a SWOT analysis on LG smartwatch. I will want you in your groups to discuss with yourself what are the essential issues in the case, and then define what you think are the critical things that need to be overcome, and then your suggestion. The way that cases work is I want you to think of yourselves as the rainmakers. You're going into a business that has a problem. This business needs someone to be able to come up with a answer. And so what they basically do is you tell us, your audience, what you should do, okay? That's the way to think of it, and we'll talk about it more later. So I'll have the spring break come up. After that, we get into week 10. We have chapter 7 on branding and positioning. We will also talk about how to develop and maintain a long-term strategic focus. You'll have your quiz review at the end of each chapter to make sure. And then all of these things are going to be wrapped up in the final quiz, which be chapters 5, 7, and 10, and this will be the final. All right. Now, before that, your groups are going to decide which of the cases in the back of the book that you would like to be able to analyze. So I will have the cases listed. This is just a list from last year, and I kept it up so you would understand. On 1 week, on November 6th, we had one of our groups, Group E, do Walmart Dominates the case. Group B did Tesla Races Ahead. On that particular night, only those groups that are presenting are required to be able to attend, all right? We'll talk about that later as well, but these are the last 3 weeks. The case is 25% of your grade. And so the way to think of it is each test is worth 25%. The case is worth 25%. There it gives you your 100%, okay? All right, so to help you along in case anyone needs it, we have the course outline on the important activities, the learning materials, and the objectives of each module, each of the assignments and what is expected to be delivered, and you can use this as a reference at any time. The syllabus, I'm getting the dates firmly fixed. If you want to see the syllabus, it'll be ready by tomorrow. And let's see if I have it listed right now. I have the online syllabus that I'm almost finishing up. And so the final part that I need is I need to get the dates finally fixed directly, okay? So the test 3 components: marketing knowledge, reflective learning, and critical reasoning. What do I mean when I say those? All right. One of the things that's important to demonstrate is that you can take the lessons that are inside the basic definitions that you're given and see how they are applied in unique circumstances. Reflective learning says that I can take the examples or things that I've learned in one way and see how they relate to another. That is an example of what reflective learning is. Marketing knowledge is simply a repeat of the basic knowledge that you have acquired while you're going through the tests. Critical reasoning, however, is something else, and that is generally defined when we talk about case analysis. So there are two concepts that we need to understand. One is it's called diagnosis and synthesis. And so when you're going through the cases, you're going to be doing both. Diagnosis comes from the Latin word, which means to take apart. And so when you're going through the cases, one of the things that's important is for you to pull the important facts out and to put them in a category way in which you can use them to be able to get an overall picture of what is going on in this particular corporation. That is the diagnosis part. And we use a particular template known as the SWOT analysis to be able to categorize those particular pieces of information. Also, the situation analysis as well. Once we take all of those pieces, take out the essential bit, the next part is the synthesis part, which is to put together. In other words, we take out the essential parts, put them together, and use that as a way of being able to determine what are the essential issues in the case. This will mean much more to you later on, but I did want to be able to state those so that you would understand. All right. Just to show you the tests are worth 75% of your grade. The group presentation is 25% of the grade. So in essence, tests 1 through 3, 25% each, and the final 20% is your group analysis. At the end of the semester, you will be given an online peer review so that you can rate the value of each of your group members' work. Can it cost you? The answer is yes. I've had one student who did not contribute whatsoever. It cost them a letter grade. We want you as a group member to contribute to the overall success of the group. And this is one of the reasons why. One of the things also that I do when it comes to groups is that I randomly put groups together. I prefer not to put groups into, groups that people know each other in, because when you look at the real world, you're never really given a choice of who you have in a given group as well. And it's important to be able to use those soft skills that you have to be able to go through and successfully work together, okay? All right, so I think that covers most of it. If any of you have any questions, please send them on to me. Like I said, I will be releasing a survey in which I'm going to ask you what is your preferred day of the week. I will publish that by the end of the week. And if there's anything else, thank you. I hope you have a great semester. Keep in touch online. If you need me, I'm only an email away. Thank you, and let's have a great semester, okay? Bye.